And we are recording. Rachel, what do you want to talk about today?
Hornswoggled at the Book Nook.
Welcome to the Best Good Friends Podcast, a show about nothing hosted by a couple of unimportant people, but we care about each other, and that means if you're watching, we care about you. Also, my name's Bobby, owner of Inherent Records in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the host of the Monuments and Ruin podcast. Joining me is our lovely registered behavior technician by day, hobbyist by night, Rachel Ann. In this episode, we're talking about getting hornswoggled at the Book Nook. And what exactly does that mean? Have you ever been to the checkout counter recently, as in the past maybe 4 or 5 years, and it seems like it takes you 25 minutes just to hand them some money for something? They're like, hey, I was thinking you put your number in here and you can get a discount. You're like, no, I don't want to put my... Would you like to sign up for our whatever things? Like, no, I don't really want to do that. Well, what about a complimentary... No, I just came here to buy a candy bar. That's all I wanted was a candy bar. Speaking of candy bar, sidebar on the candy bar. I almost lost my Baby Ruth today. And I was like, okay, I got this ice cold Baby Ruth, you know, the little fun size ones. Mm-hmm. Set aside, I ate one. It was too much for me to chew frozen. I was like, okay, I'm going to set this thing here. I'm coming back for it. Baby Ruth, you're going to be mine. And then I come back. I open this thing up. I'm like, yes, it's going to be the perfect texture. Not melted, but warm enough to be ooey gooey. You know the kind. The best ooey gooey candy.
Right.
Then I rip the thing open and it just flies out of my hand, rolls right down my shirt and into my lap. And I'm like, oh! You know, and it's like, I was like,
one of those catches?
I lost my candy bar. Oh no. I had been thinking about this candy bar all day. And then I was like, oh wait, it's on my kneecap. I guess whenever I'd done this, it flicked up and landed on my kneecap.
That's safe.
Yes. And I enjoyed the Baby Ruth. Delicious Baby Ruth. Maybe we should be sponsored by Baby Ruth. If you're watching, we could use some sponsors because we need to get paid. Okay, so Sunday, Brandy and I decided to go out and eat, which we rarely get to do. So it's like, hey, let's go out to dinner. Very nice. So we go out, we do the dinner thing. On the way back, we're traveling. There's actually a rainstorm coming in. And we're like, hey, you know, we got just a little bit of time. Do you want to go straight home or do you want to go do something? Brandy was like, I'm kind of thinking about getting a book to read. It's like, sounds great. Let's go get a book. We get there, the rain's actually coming in right when we get to the bookstore, so we get in just in time. The storm comes, so we kind of just browse around a little bit. We're not in any hurry. She finds a couple of things. I meant to bring the Monster magazine to show you. It's called Castle of Frankenstein. The coolest magazine I've seen in a long, long time. All black and white, classic movie stuff, lots of horror, and not just horror, but just cinema related, like it might be Star Wars or something like that mixed into. Especially this one thing that was super cool is like 3 pages of things that you see in movies that are mistakes. Like, for example, the stormtrooper that walks out in the first episode of, I guess it's episode 4 of Star Wars, and he bumps his head.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's stuff like that, and they just have like 3 pages full of cool stuff that you can go back and watch these movies and pick up.
That reminds me of, let me see if I can find it real quick. A book I just got recently. Maybe I don't have it up here. I don't think I showed you. It was like a horror book related, but it just lists a bunch of like the horror Fright Night movies, like on Turner Classic shows. Okay. But like on every page they describe, they have like some random facts. They just explain the movie. But in the last page they have, you know, if you enjoy this movie, you should check out this movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
I love stuff like that. And one of the things that I like about Tubi is it takes you down that rabbit hole as well. Mm-hmm. Netflix used to be really good about that. This was years ago when we first signed up for it. I told Brandy that was the best part about Netflix is when something was over, it gave you 3 choices. And it was like, you might like this, or this. Yeah. And now they don't do that. They're just...
Can't share your passwords.
So my password is...
Can't share your passwords with anybody. They don't give you any recommendations. I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on, people. We're paying.
I thought that was really cool, though, that they did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
think
that's
like
great.
the Apple Music, like we were talking about last week, how they recommend artists, say you listen to Explosions in the Sky, and then they have like Mogwai, Mono. That's like the same thing they did in that book, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I love that whole rabbit hole feature of stuff like that, because I've gotten into so many movies that I didn't dig. One of the things that made me fall in love with it was I was watching those making of albums, like the best of albums. I think one of them was Dark Side of the Moon and maybe a Fleetwood Mac album or something. And the more I started watching those, it just kept rolling into things that I would have never even realized to search for. So I was like, wow, I'm down in this rabbit hole. And I remember one time waking up at like 3 a.m. with just, anxiety, or not anxiety, but not able to sleep.
Right.
And I was just like, oh man, I'm just laying here. And I was tossing and turning, and I thought I was going to wake up Brandy. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go watch television. So I just made coffee and sat in there and watched the documentaries about making these movies. And she got up and was like, it's 6 a.m. I was like, I just watched Pink Floyd. I just watched this. I watched the band. It was so cool. And she was like, well, why are you up this early? I was like, I just couldn't sleep.
They have that on Tubi as well. Like, they had Back to the Future on there.
Okay.
A few other making of the movies. And they had, like who was supposed to play Marty McFly instead of Michael J. Fox, stuff like that. That was cool, too.
I haven't got to read it yet, but there's an article about Teen Wolf in one of these magazines that I got as well, which is kind of a monster, another monster-related magazine.
Hornswoggled.
Yes, oh yeah, so that's exactly right, Hornswoggled. So we got derailed. Anyway, so we drift around a little bit. I also got a Stranger Things Choose Your Own Adventure book. I hope that it's not a story that I know. I hope it's something fresh that they just modeled around Stranger Things, but it's been a while since I've had something like that, so I thought it'd be cool to check out. So I grabbed this monster magazine. I'm freaking out about how cool it is and debating should I buy it. Brandy's got a couple books.
Yeah.
We go and find a bookmark, and then we get to the counter, and we're checking out, and the first thing is, do you have our rewards membership?
Right.
Like, no, we don't. Would you like to sign up for the rewards membership? You'll save $5 right now on this purchase, plus you'll save $5 on something else, and it's a one-time fee of $25. I was like, mathematically, you're trying to tell me to save $10 by paying $25.
The last time I was at Book Nook, I'm going to call it Book Nook.
Yeah, Book Nook.
The last time I was at Book Nook, because I don't have a membership either, so I think it's like 25% off or something, like every time you buy from there. But I'm like, what's the first tier membership? And they're like, oh, you just get stickers to put on a card. I'm like,
yeah, just what you wanted, right?
I'm like, what? I had to collect stickers like back when I was in school, like when you read books and you went to Pizza Hut and then you got like a personal pan pizza.
Yeah.
Book it.
Yep.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, book it, yeah. So, needless to say, we are passing on the, we'll save $10 by giving you $25.
Right.
Oh, and free shipping. Considering we're standing in the building and she's saying, you get free shipping. I'm like, come on.
She's trying.
It to me. Yeah, and, we've just had dinner. I'm in a good mood, so it's not like I'm bothered by this. But it was making me laugh, and I'm looking at Brandy, and she's laughing as well. So, then the next
side part of that is, if I could say one more thing, that's what makes me not want to go into this place, though. Because I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, because I'm such an introvert, so I'm like, no, don't ask me for my email or anything else.
Absolutely, you got to have all this, the whole information bit, so, yeah, I was like, we don't want that. The next thing is, well, we're having a book drive. Would you like to donate a book for, some kids or something? And I'm just like, oh, man, And I'm looking around, and I see a couple of things, nothing really fancy, but there was this one, it's like a children's learn to read thing, and it was called, I think it was called Bob Books or something. Does that sound familiar? Okay, so that must have been what it was. It was Bob something. So, of course, I laughed in my mind. I was like, let's do the Bob book. They're like, all right, here's, $22 for this Bob book thing. And I'm like, geez, okay, thanks for, not saving me in the wall. It's like, I should have signed up for the discount. I could have saved $10 by paying you $25 and then donated another $22 on top. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, that's whatever. And Brandy's like, oh, are you going to donate? And I was like, yeah. And when she grabbed it, she was like, you would take the Bob Books one, which was hilarious. So we laughed about that as well. Then she was like, okay, this is where the Hornswoggled comes in. She rings up everything. She was like, by the way, you could have saved $5 on this. You don't want to do the discount. No, we don't want to sign up. No rewards. None of that. I don't want to sign up for anything. She was like, okay, for your donation, you can choose 3 complimentary magazines from this thing. And I'm like, okay, let's do just the typical ones, because I'm thinking, well, I just donated $20-something in books.
Is it like People or something?
Giving away magazines. So I was like, I'll take Time Magazine, People, Sports Illustrated, Hustler, Playboy, Boobs and Butts, whatever you got. No, I'm just kidding.
Nudie books.
So I got
a stack of nudie books.
Give me all the nudie ones. That's what. Yeah, right here at the Book Nook, right on the counter. I'm sure that's what they're pushing is the nudie books. So I get the Time Life and the People and the Sports Illustrated or something like that. She's like, okay, great. Where should we have them shipped? And then I'm like, oh man, shipping? Okay, well fine. Here's my email. They got it anyway.
Yeah.
Send me the email, or I give them the email. Then they're like, okay, the address. I give them the address. At this point, Brandy's just walked away. She's not even at the register anymore.
Oh, she's just done.
Just wandered off, and I'm just left to my own devices. So I was like, okay, understood. I would be doing the same thing as I was her, because it's been like 25 minutes we've been trying to check out these 4 books that we're buying. So we go through all the stuff, and then she says, okay, great. I actually handed her a card. I used to always pay everything with cash. And Brandy and I recently converted to paying with cards so we could just consolidate some things until we get further along. But everything goes on the card now. No matter what we do, dinner goes on the card. Books go on the card as well. Hand her the card. She swipes it. She gives us our receipt. And then she says, in 3 weeks, you're going to get an email. There's going to be, it's like from some book.com or whatever. There's going to be a red bar at the bottom that says subscription. You'll need to click on that subscription and cancel before it starts charging your card for the subscription. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. I didn't sign up for a subscription. She was like, no, it's the complimentary magazines. I was like, you said complimentary magazines for the donation. She was like, oh no, they are free. They're complimentary. The first 2 issues of each are free, and then you have to cancel the subscription. And I was like, I don't want to sign up for a subscription. And I was like, gave her the receipt back. I was like, go ahead and cancel this. And she was like, I can't cancel it. And I was like, why not? She was like, well, it's got to go through all the system, and it's already been sent over to wherever. And at this point, at this point, I've had a good evening. Everything's been fine. We've been enjoying it. And even going through all of this process was kind of, usually I would be very upset. Like, nothing, I don't want anything, let's move on.
Well, how long have you been there at this point?
Exactly. It's like 10 minutes in, and all this, literally 10 minutes of checking out 4 books.
Seems like it.
Yeah, and I was just like, I could feel my face getting red.
Yeah.
I was getting angry. It's like, you just set me up. And I was like, I want it canceled, and she said, we can't. And then I was like, because Brandy does customer service too. And I was thinking, if I start yelling at this girl, it's the same as somebody yelling at Brandy. But I was also thinking that this girl deserves it because she hornswoggled me. That's what the whole trick was. You told me for your donation.
Well, she said for kids.
Well, the book donation, we did that. For your generosity on the donation, you can choose from 3 of our magazines. That's not what it was. It was just a typical magazine subscription that she threw on there. So I was getting mad.
I don't.
And she's already been through this probably 50 times because she's like, okay, here's the number that you need to call. After that, you hit 0 twice, and she's already got the receipt out and circling everything I need, And I'm just like, okay. Whatever good time is just drained from me now. And now I'm just angry. I've been set up. You painted me in a corner, and you won't even cancel it right now. So I'm walking out. I have my bag. Brandy kind of walks over and meets me. She's like, I handed her the receipt, and I was like, hold on to that. We need to call these MFers. And
like,
she
what
looks
did
at me,
you
she's
do?
like, yeah, I mean, because that's how mad I was. Like, I just need to at least say something and get it out of my system.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just carry it with me, but I was mad.
No.
And she was like, what happened? And I was like, they just signed us up for a freaking magazine subscription. And
Not just one, was it?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's
3?
3 of them.
You know how much that would be?
I found out today, by the way. I'll get to that.
What was the total? Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I immediately get home, and it's like she lets the dogs out. I immediately have the receipt.
You're already on the phone.
I'm just like boop boop boop. To press 0 twice. Whoever answered, I was like, "Hey, I was just at the Hornswoggled at the Book Nook, and they set me up for some complimentary magazines that are not complimentary. In fact, it's a subscription, and I was not told that. I'd like to cancel this ASAP. I do not want my card charged at all, because I noticed at the bottom of that receipt it says I have now granted so and so books permission to charge my card
to charge your card.
Yeah, right. Which I did not agree to. She never asked me that. So anyway, that's sidebar on that.
Can you imagine like all the elderly people that fall for this though, and then they get charged like because they don't understand that stuff though.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm pulling up some screen caps of something else that happened, so that way we can get to it.
I don't know. I don't understand. I guess the whole. I mean, magazines were super popular. I mean, I guess, are they still popular? I don't know. I like to go into Books and Nooks and just look at magazines. Scroll through. I buy some here and there, like once in a while, for college football previews or something. But there's just, I don't know.
I love magazines. I still enjoy magazines, and whoever the creepy guy that was smelling the magazines while I was browsing, he obviously likes magazines.
All right.
I'm not joking. There's this guy that he does one of these numbers. He's like,
did it have perfume samples in them?
I have no idea.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that when they used to have perfume samples
sure
in magazines? I don't know if they still do or not.
Yep.
I need to check that out when I go to Books and Nooks.
He was down for magazines anyway.
I need to check that out. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll next time I'm browsing around, I'll look through maybe something that would have perfume in it. Just
you need to get to the feminine aisle.
They come in the mail. They still come in the mail though. Brandy gets them all the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I enjoy them.
Dangerous.
I just don't understand the whole, even the fundraiser part of it. I don't understand either.
Yeah.
Still a fundraiser some kids do.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And even with the donate a book or whatever for the children's drive, I was down for that. That didn't bother me at all. It's like, hey,
but why can't that just be it?
Absolutely.
Why do you have to get something in return for you donating a book?
Remember when we used to do the record sales and the whole gift things? That's when we did the donation drive. That's why I stopped doing those donations, was because every time I would give something, I would wind up getting something back in the mail for them to ask for more donations. And I was like, by the time you've mailed all this stuff to me and complimentary notepads and whatever else, the money we donated was wasted on you just trying to get me to donate more. So we just wrapped up all that stuff and stopped doing it. But anyway, that's another story for another episode. So I call the guy, go through the old Sam with him, and he's like, so it just happened. I was like, yeah, it's about an hour ago. And he's like, no, we can't cancel you because you're not in the system. Call back in 3 weeks. And I was just like, oh, man, okay. So that ends that saga for the moment. We make us a big pink Post-it note and put it on the table, like right in the middle of the table, that says September 2nd, you need to call this number, which would be 3 weeks from that date. Okay. So today I get an email, and it's from some random thing. First of all, the lessons that they teach you in emails is when you see a strange email, don't open it, right?
Right,
and they say, if you see a strange email that has a hyperlink, don't click it, right? That's exactly what this girl told me to do. You're going to get a weird email from somebody you don't know. Click the red button and then give them your information. It's like,
did you fall for it?
It's all setting me up for a fall, and I don't like it. So today I get the email, and I'm like, is this it? Sure seems fishy. So I don't have the email. I wish I had it pulled up. I should have done a screenshot. But I opened it up, and it's like, hey, your subscription for Sports Illustrated, that's going to be like $130.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And your subscription for Time, which is going to be like $90-something. And then whatever the other one was, what did I say? Sports Illustrated, Time, and
not People, but
Yeah, People or something like that. Whatever it was ridiculous. I was like, there is no way I have the money to spend on those. Even though I love magazines, I'm not signing up for that kind of a subscription.
I know Sports Illustrated is expensive.
Yeah. And so
I think it's only like 12 issues or something.
Yeah. So this may or may not be the email that I need to click the big red button. Because I don't see the big red button. But I click on it, and it takes me to another page that's like, log in to your account. And I was like, okay, I don't have that. I'm not doing that. Go back to the email.
So pretty soon I'll be able to access Bobby's bank account.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. You're gonna order records. You're gonna wind up getting a Sports Illustrated in there. Is what's gonna happen. What? Why is he sending me the August issue?
Right.
So I noticed there was a little bubble in there that said "click here for a chat." So I clicked on that, and it took me back to that website with the little chat bubble. So I clicked that puppy. I was like, all right, this is what's up now. So, needless to say, I don't know if you want me to read you this whole transaction or not, but it starts off with me talking to Ashley, who is extremely polite, might I add. So, Ashley's like, how may I help you? Yeah, I want to cancel my subscription.
Right.
Certainly, I'll be glad to assist you today. May I please have your first name and street address, which I don't like giving that out anyway, but it's
no.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
So, may I know the reason for your cancellation? ? And then she said, or he, Ashley, either way, may I know which magazine subscription you would like to cancel today? And I was like, yes. I was not told this was a subscription. I was told it was a complimentary issue in regards to a book donation. Afterwards, I was told it was a subscription, not complimentary. And then she said, I shouldn't say she. Then they said I was able to locate your orders for Sports Illustrated, Time, and People. So that is confirmed what it was. And then I said, correct. Okay, let me see what I can do. Next up, okay, I do see that you were to call back to cancel before December 16th. Now remember, this was like a September earlier that I was supposed to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're supposed to call back to cancel before December 16th, 2023. No. Not only would you be able to get a full refund, big word there, for your upcoming charge, but all issues you receive would be yours to keep. Do you want to try that? And I said, no, thank you. And then she said, your request has been processed. Is there anything else that I can help you with today? And I said, I do not want to be charged for anything, ever. I do not agree to any charges, but was signed up without my consent to a subscription. Then they said, I understand, but you are still entitled to receive more trial issues. Just call us back October 17th. Now, there's the third date that they hit me with. Call us back October 17th, 2023 to prevent any charges from occurring. That way you won't miss out on those issues. Does this sound good to you? And I said I would prefer to cancel the entire process now.
Right.
Okay. In response, I've canceled your orders. Rest assured your account were never charged. If your subscriptions were being actively fulfilled by the publisher, you may receive an additional 1 to 2 issues, which you may keep with our compliments. Is there anything else that I can help you with? And I said, thank you. I do not need to follow up with anything else further, correct? Everything is canceled and requires no follow-up from me. That is correct. Thank you so much, Ashley. And then the classic response, thank you for chatting with me. At the close of this session, please take a moment to rate your experience with me, which I'm thinking I'm not going to spend another 10 minutes doing this. After completing the survey, you'll receive a special thank you offer to receive up to 3 of your favorite magazines for just $5 each.
So the whole thing would just start all over again.
And I was just like, goodbye.
Oh my.
It's like, yeah. How dare you try to sell me 3 magazines after I just went through
Why is it
this
always
whole
3?
So that was how I got hornswoggled at the Book Nook.
You know who would never be hornswoggled?
Who's that?
The great Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, Pee Wee.
By the way, I wanted to say rest in peace to Paul Rubens.
Yes, indeed.
Who I enjoyed thoroughly.
Oh,
I think Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings with Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Fantastic.
Love that show growing up.
Wayne White, one of the guys who helped with that set, grew up in Saudi Daisy, Tennessee, which is about an hour from where I live. He had a display at the Hunter Museum in Chattanooga recently. Well, I guess it was last year. He is just such an amazing artist. He also did the video set for Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that did the video for Sledgehammer by Peter. I want to say Peter Gilbert, Paul Gilbert. Goodness gracious, Peter Gabriel. There we go. I'm thinking wrong.
Yep.
I'm guitarist for Racer X. But the Peter Gabriel video, super influential and a big deal for a lot of people at the time. He was the one that did that video, and there's just so much other cool stuff. But yeah, was it not Red Randy? What was the guy's name? The doll, the angry doll on Pee-wee.
I know it was Randy,
but yeah. Anyway, I can't remember his name now. Anyway, he made that one. But yeah, super cool. Super cool.
The villain?
Wayne White.
I thought it was just Randy, but...
It might just be Randy. Maybe
I'm
just getting
Randy.
Confused with a character that I want to play.
I watched that the other day, and it's unreal.
Yeah.
All of the work that went into that.
Oh man, that set is just...
Set.
It's way ahead of its time, for sure. I mean, you could present it today, and people would be just as amazed with it now. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the content would, like the topic content, would be a little bit different. But people would still love it. They'd be like, man, Pee-wee's Playhouse is the greatest.
It just made me think of that episode I was watching when he was camping with Cowboy Curtis. And I'm like, why is it just
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it just Pee-wee and Cowboy Curtis?
Yeah. So creepy.
You know how that's it's just funny to think of now.
You know, he was also the guy that they teamed up with to sell drugs and blow. A lot of people don't think about that, but he was the
right.
Oh man, I think his name was. I'm not going to say it; it's going to be the wrong one. But he was the person that first sold pot to the other guy, and then they turned out to in this whole big drug ring. Yeah, and then he was also the hamburger guy in the Cheech and Chong sagas. It's like, hamburger, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Well, the thing I think when I look at it too, I'm like, Lawrence Fishburne is Cowboy Curtis.
Yeah, man, Pee-wee was everywhere. He's got all kinds of cool cameos everywhere. Yep, rest in peace for sure, for sure. Okay, anything you want to say before we sign off on this one? I'm glad you brought that up because
no, I just wanted to make sure I brought that up because that was a big part of my childhood growing up, and I know I always enjoyed Pee-wee.
Yeah, I think he gets a bad rap.
I was gonna say even though what happened later on, I'll still always have Pee-wee just on the one side, and that was special to me. So.
Well, if that happened in our modern year, people would just be like, yeah, so.
True. That is true.
Like nobody would even think twice.
Just a genius. The show is just everything about it.
I totally agree. And all of the characters that he's played in other films as well. I mean, even the Big Adventure film was really great. Like,
you know who I did not think of?
Rebel.
Yes. You know who I didn't think of was he's Penguin's dad in Batman.
Penguin's dad.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
You know the villain?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I'll have to go back and watch that then. That way, yeah. All right.
I was
like,
I was trying to think of what else he was in. There's other stuff too that I'm like, what in the? Like it's just random.
You got a list in front of you?
It's Batman Returns. He's Penguin's dad. He was in. I don't know who was he in Nightmare Before Christmas. Do you know?
I don't remember that. No.
Me neither.
That would be something else for us to talk about in a future episode. Is that type of stuff?
Oh, he was Locke. Nightmare Before Christmas, and then there was what else? Let me look up a couple more. But the Batman Returns, because that's one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know. You'll have to look it up later. Just you'll have to see what he looks like in it. But I was like, I don't know if you've seen Batman.
Yeah, I'm totally drawing a blank on that.
It's just one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
He's in Matilda, which I don't remember Matilda.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
Have you seen Matilda?
Nope.
The Blues Brothers?
Where was he in the Blues Brothers?
I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out, and we'll come back with answers, I think.
Well, yeah, I'm on it.
I think that's going to be the Smurfs.
Animated or what? I
guess
it doesn't say, does it? Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. We'll have to come back with some answers next week.
So, on the Cheech and Chong, I think it was Nice Dreams that he was in.
He was in that.
That was when
Cheech
he
and
was
Chong's next movie.
the guy from the hamburger stand. Hey, guy from the hamburger stand. Hey, man, we need our money back.
Do you know this movie, Flight of the Navigator?
I do.
He's in that. I don't know. This is our assignment for next week.
For sure. Good stuff.
But yes, rest in peace to Paul Rubens.
Indeed.
I enjoyed that.
Rachel, I have enjoyed it as well. Thank you for tuning in this far. Once again, my name is Bobby. This is Rachel. This is the Best Good Friends podcast. If you want to get a hold of us for sponsorship opportunities, please try not to hit us with any complimentary magazines that we have to pay for at a later date. But we will take your cash money cold. You can contact us at bestgoodfriendspodcast@gmail.com. I will not click the big red button, but I will get back to you as soon as we can. I will talk to you next time. Rachel, I appreciate you.
Don't get hornswoggled.